So welcome back, my dear students and friends. Welcome back to our lecture series, that is the forest resources. This is the third and the last lecture under forest resources, and we have already discussed about the 16 different kind of the forests present in India and their uses, what kind of uses we are doing. Now we will be under this lecture will be discussing about the major factor affecting forest resources. What are the major factors which are affecting the forest resources? While increasing population, with increased population, we know the population, human being population is growing. So with increased population, increased demand of fuel wood, expansion of area under urban development and industrial has led to overexploitation of the forest. We are growing. The population is growing exponentially, and what we are doing, we are cutting the forest for the urbanization, for making the buildings, and for the agriculture purposes, because food security is also one of the important component to survive, for the human survival. So to ensure the food security, to ensure the household, we cut the forest, and sometime legally, sometime illegally, for the expansion of the urbanization, for creating the concrete jungle, which is having the bad impact, negative impact on the forest. So these are the major factor affecting forest resources. We are expanding, we are cutting the forest. So that is the overexploitation of the forest. At present international level, we are losing forest at rate of 1.7 crores hectare annually. According to a 2023 report, India lost 6,68,400 hectare of forest between 2015 to 2020. So within 5 years, we have lost 6,68,400 hectares of forest, ranking second globally, right after the Brazil. With a difference of 2,84,400 hectare of in forestry loss between 1990 and 2020, 15 and 2020, India saw the biggest increase in deforestation. So this difference is 2,84,400 uh, between 1990, 2015, 2015 and 2020. India saw the biggest increase in the deforestation. So we are exploiting, we are growing, and for growing need, we are exploiting the forest. So this is the world forest. Brazil 16%, Russia 22%, and India just 2%. We contribute only 2%. We have 2% of the forest. And like this is giving the actual USA has 6%, and Canada 7%, Peru, Indonesia have 2%, and India 2%, Australia 4%, and other rest of the countries are having 31% of the forest. So with the increase, forests are being depleted. This graph showing how forests are being depleted because of the increased demand for agricultural land. The red arrow shows the increased demand of the agricultural land, and as the demand increases, the forest is depleting. The forest is depleting, and this is the point of concern. We have to think, we have to wisely use the forest and the forest resources. So overexploitation also occur due to overgrazing and conversion of forest to pasture for domestic uses, because in India, in the remote areas, in the villages, it is said that every house every house is having the cattle population. So it is also said that house without the cattle is not a house in the remote areas. So if you go to the villages, you will find the small houses with cattle population. Sometime they're having the good villages are having good cattle population, good cow, Jersey cows having the milk, enough milk to sell and sustain themselves through in generating the income. But there are many villages, many remote areas where they are using the traditional cows, which are not as milching as the Jersey cows and other good breed cows. So, but since they are there since ages because of the inbreeding and different things. So since very ages, low quality cows they are having, they ultimately they have to provide the food for the cattle. They cannot leave. So overexploitation also occur due to overgrazing and conversion of forest to the pasture for domestic uses. Forests are burned or cut for clearing of the land, for agriculture, harvesting, for wood and timber development, and expansion of cities. This is what we just discussed. For the expansion of the cities, we are clearing the forest. These economic gain are short term, whereas long term effect of deforestation are irreversible. We say that this is the renewable, but if we continue like this will be the non-renewable natural resources. We won't be able to have the forest if we will be expanding so much, we'll be growing so much. So at some point of time we have to control, and we have to think about the sustainable growth, so that forest resources as well as we both can live happily. So deforestation adversely and directly affect and damage the environment and living being. Deforestation adversely and directly affect and damage the environment and living being by expansion of desert, climate change, depletion of water table, loss of biodiversity, that is flora and fauna, and environmental changes and disturbance in the forest ecosystem. These are the major factors which are affecting the forest. And main causes of deforestation is the shifting cultivation or zoom cultivation. What we do the agriculture practices at one place, we leave, we abandon, and we move to the another place for the agriculture purposes. This is called shifting cultivation or zoom cultivation. This is very popular in the northeast India. The practice is prevalent in the tribal areas where forest lands are cleared to grow subsistence crop. In India, shifting cultivation is prevalent in northeast and to limited extent in MP, Bihar and Andhra Pradesh, and is contributing significantly to deforestation. Instead of making the soil good so that we can regrow and reproduce, what they are doing, what we are doing, we are shifting the land for the cultivation. That is called shifting cultivation or the zoom cultivation. Commercial logging, there has been unlimited exploitation of timber for commercial uses. Everybody want to have the natural wood while paneling, which we should discourage, because we should think about the forest and the forest resources. So due to increased industrial demand, timber extraction has significantly affect on forest and tribal people. Poor logging result in degradation forest, and many led to soil erosion, especially on slopes. Now, logging permits shifting cultivation and fuel wood gathered to gain access to other areas for expansion of logging, and logging may lead to loss of long-term forest productivity. Due to this practice, species of plants and animals may be eliminated. A need for fuel wood, increased population has led to increased demand for fuel wood acting as a deforestation agent, expansion of agribusiness. We are into the cash crop. Cash crops such as oil, palm, rubber fruits, and ornamental plants, there is stress to expand the area for agribusiness products, which result in deforestation. If you go to the South India like Uti and all, the forest has been cut down for the coffee plantation, and that is called as the cash crop, because once you plant the trees, you can harvest for many years. With the less manpower, you can have more and more money. In Northeast India, it is the tea. You just grow at one time, and you can harvest many time. And the only disadvantages under this crop is that they do not have much under these crop. Within these kind of cash crop areas, there is not much grown for the animals to feed upon. So diversity, animal diversity is very low, and the plant diversity is also very low. These are the monoculture. So expansion of agribusiness such as oil, palm, rubber, fruits and ornamental plants, there is a stress to expand the area for agribusiness products, which resulted in deforestation. Development projects and growing need for food, the growing demand for electricity, irrigation, construction, mining has led to destruction of the forest. Raw material for industry uses, forests provide raw material for industries, and it has extract, exerted tremendous pressure on forest. Increasing demand for plywood for baking has exerted pressure on cutting of other species such as fruit to the used to packing material for apple in J&K and tea in Northeast India. It's not backing, it's packing material. So these are the plywoods are also having great impact um, on the forest. So mining for minerals, major effect of mining operations are on forest. Mining lead to degradation of land and loss of topsoil. It is estimated that about 80,000 hectare land is under stress of mining activities in India. Mining and other associated activities remove vegetation along with underlying soil mantle, which result in destruction of topography and landscape in the area. Indiscriminate mining in forest of Goa since 1961 has destroyed more than 50,000 hectare of forest land. Coal mining in Jharia, Raniganj and Singrauli areas have caused extension deforestation in Jharkhand. So, coal mining has also caused the destruction, deforestation in the Jharkhand area, which used to be a very, very rich state. Jharkhand is also rich in the minerals. So, mining of radioactive minerals in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka, and posing similar threat of deforestation. The rich forests of Western Ghat are also facing the same threat due to mining project for excavation of copper, chromite, bauxite, and magnetite. So these are the mining material, these are the minerals. Because of this, forest is on stress. Apart from the mining, dams are also the are not um good for the forest because to making the dams, first thing is that we stop the water. Dams are usually made on the rivers, so we stop the water, stopping the movement of the animals, fishes especially. And then what we are doing while constructing the dam, we remove the people, so they are again in disturbed, and we clear big land for construction of the dam. India is the major dam builder among the developing countries. India has 4,291 large dams, counting the 695 that are under construction. About 73% of the 3,596 completed dams are situated in three western states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh for irrigation, power generation, drinking water, etc. So, we need the electricity. So, these dams provide the electricity, hydropowers, which generate the electricity for our sustenance. It is recognized that large dams directly or indirectly transform the nature and productivity of riparian, estuarine, and coastal ecosystem. This will have a direct bearing on the biological diversity that is encompasses in these ecosystem. It is reported that by 1980, India had lost about 500,000 hectare of forest due to construction of 2,178 dams. About 2 million hectare of land was submerged due to creation of reservoir by these 61 dams. 29% of the submerged land was forested area. So we are making the dams on the rivers, and rivers are inside the forest, and because of construction of the dams, not only we are stopping the water, controlling the water to generate the hydroelectric power, controlling the water, and that's how we are controlling the transfer of the fishes from one area to another area, that is negative impacting on the breeding of the fishes, many fishes. And making the dam means clearing of the forest, making the dam means rehabilitation, removal of the local people. So these are the negative impact making the dam, but we need the dams to generate the electricity. These are the forest areas submerged by different dams in India. This is the data which has been taken from the government website. So for these are the forest areas submerged by different dams in India. So these are the zones like Himalayas, Gangetic Plains, Deccan Peninsula, Northeast India, and Western Ghats. These are the area which are most affected because of the dams. And this is the column which is showing around 20 lakhs 9,148 hectare area has been submerged because of the making of the dams, and 5,81,912 hectare area has been submerged because of the forest. This much forest area has been submerged because of the dams. So this is the government data taken from the government website, which shows forest areas submerged by different dams in India. And impact of dams on forest: creation of static water body that replace a free flowing river, in inundation of valley and submergence agricultural land, forests in habitation, accelerates sedimentation due to altered land use pattern, changes in downstream morphology of riverbed and bank, delta, estuaries and coastline due to altered sedimental lands, and changes in downstream water quality, effect on river temperature, nutrient loss, dissolved gases, and concentration of metal and mineral, reduction of biodiversity due to blocking of the movement of organism. Mining, dam, and then forest fire. There are two kind of forest fire. One is the intentional and one is the unintentional. While like in the forest, when it's too hot, the stones roll down, and when they are hit by stones, two stones are being rubbed or hit while rolling down, that creates the fire. That is the natural fire. And man-made fire is when the accidental fire are those when you're going in a bus and somebody smoking and just throwing the bidis or cigarette butt in the forest, and that catches the fire during the very very dry leaf, when the forest cover is covered with the dry leaves. Forest land is covered with the dry leaves. So we have to be very careful. In India, forest fire are either natural or man-made. It is estimated that 33% of the forests of India are prone to forest fire annually. In some states, it ranges to 90%. That is the FRI report, Forest Research Institute report of 2018. During 2016, 30,000 forest fire incidents have been reported from India. In 2009, there are 47,978 incidents of forest fire. Forest fire, then livestock grazing. We have already discussed that every house in the remote area, in the rural area, are having the cattle, and they take their cattle inside the forest, and that is the creating the for the cattle grazing, for the livestock grazing. And this grazing is not bad. Controlled grazing is not bad, but when the animals are going inside the forest with their hoofs, trampling of the hoofs on the ground, the newly germinated plants are being destroyed by trampling of the hoofs. So that's why the livestock grazing is bad inside the forest. It has great impact on plant biomass, trampling of plants, including soil, nutrient inputs, and bacterial contamination from drugs and urine. The most noticeable effect of grazing in the decline of wild herbivore population, as they have to compete with livestock for the food sources. Definitely, when the livestock going inside the forest, they are competing with the wild animals. They are not only competing for the food, but sometimes zoonotic diseases are also spread from domestic to the wild animals, and that could be the causes for the decline, one of the cause for the decline of the population of the wild animal. So as more cattle graze and nibble the natural vegetation, there is a less palatable biomass for wild herbivores, and declined population of herbivores may in turn put carnivores in danger, and in the way food chain is disturbed. If population of the herbivores is reduced, so if the carnivores are those species which feed on the herbivores. So when the vegetation is disturbed, no food, less food is available, the population of, in long term basis, population of herbivore will be reduced, and with the reduced population of herbivores, the carnivore population will be also affected. So if you are talking about the tiger, we have to think about maintaining the whole ecosystem. Tiger conservation is not only the conservation of the tiger, but also conservation of the herbivores on which tiger can feed upon, and the food material, the vegetation for the herbivores, so that the ecosystem could be maintained, and the population of everything will be maintained and in good health. So this graph is the showing the impact of grazing. So how grazing can impact: presence of hardness, guard drugs and domestic stock in the forest, trampling, forest fire, damages to young regeneration. Trampling, what will happen? The regeneration will be damaged, which will lead to loss of cover, soil erosion, habitat destruction by increasing in unpalatable species, wildlife disturbances, wildlife destruction, and this all will lead to the wildlife disturbance, um, and egg collection, wildlife killing. So ultimately change in the ecosystem. So grazing is good, but the moderate grazing. We should encourage to collect the fodder and give them in their places instead of going in. Um, so these are some of the destructed forests because of the cutting and dam. These are the dams. We are making big dams, and of course we are growing and we need electricity, but on what cost we are doing it? So these are the issues. These are the mining near the forest areas. The Jharkhand is rich in the minerals, and because of the mining activities, lots forest cover is being removed, and big holes are made to collect the more and more mining. And the Panna Tiger Reserve, that is the one of the most successful reintroduction tiger reintroduction program in near the Panna. There is a diamond mining. So this is again because of the mining, this kind of destruction is going on, and this is how the sites looks like. And so to overcome with this, we have to think about the forest conservation and management, so that we can have enough and enough forest type, so that we can sustain, we can at least get the oxygen and the necessary important thing from the forest. They are not only provided us the oxygen, but also we have discussed they are also cleaning the environment by absorbing the harmful gases. So forest is one of the most valuable resources and thus needed to be conserved. Conservation of forest is a national problem. Thus, it should be tackled with perfect coordination between concerned government departments. People should be made aware of importance of forest and involved in forest conservation activities. The cutting of the trees in the forest for timber should be stopped. A forestation program should be launched. We should do the plantation, more and more plantation. So if you are cutting one tree, at least we should plant many trees, because totally we cannot stop the cutting of the woods. Either we have to find some alternative, or we have to stop, completely stop, which is not possible. So if we are cutting, clearing one area, we should make sure that we have already grown forests on some abundant land. So that should be there. So afforestation should be there. Grassland should be regenerated. Forest Conservation Act should be strictly implemented to check deforestation, and award should be instituted for the deserving. We have forest acts, we have wildlife protection act, but and they are very strong, but the implementation is not as effective. We have to do the implementation of these acts. We have to be more, this is the time that we have to be more strict while implementing these acts. Dependency of the local people on forest produces should be minimized, following some measure for improving the forest to resources, like regulate the plant deforestation, reforestation, control on forest fire, proper utilization of the forest and forest products, forest management, and sustainable growth through joint forest management. That is the very important component. Joint forest management means local as well as the forest department should come together to do the plantation, so that both should be benefited. So local people will only support greening an area if they can see some economic benefit. JFM, joint forest management, identified and respects the local community's right and benefit. We cannot simply stop the locals or motivate the locals to grow more and more forests until unless they see their benefit in that. So we have to motivate, we have to encourage them, and we have, in return, we have to give some incentive to the locals who are living around the forest and who are totally dependent on the forest resources. So we have to give some incentive, some important schemes, so that they should be encouraged to do the plantation more and more. So new JFM guidelines were issued in 2000. Forest Protection Committee from local community member are formed. Locals were also involved in the conservation programs. So Forest Protection Committee from local community members are formed, is to place that that at least 25% of the income from the area must go to the community. Whatever income we are generating from the plantation, from the reforestation, to control the deforestation, the income should go, 25% income should go to the local community who are involved and to dependent on this. So these kinds of incentive we have to provide to the local people to encourage them for the uh, afforestation, participate in restoring green cover and protected the area from being over exploitation. So these incentive we have to ensure the incentive for the local people, so that we can have more and more forests. Especially we should stop, we should control the cutting of the forest. Also we should grow the forest on the barren land, on the land which once used for different practices and left barren, so that those lands should be used for the plantation. These are some JFM schemes, plantation. This is how we should do. We should promise ourselves that we should do the plantation, because in every religion, we are connected with the green trees, we are connected with the environment. Every religion tells us to respect the environment, and um, it has a significant role in different religions. If you grow a tree, of course you won't be able to eat the fruit of that tree, but your generation uh, will always praise your effort, will always keep you in the prayer that you have given so much um, for them. So we have to think about our next generation, and we have to do the plantation more and more, not only in the forested area, but also we should promise that every house should be surrounded with the trees, with the plants. In whatever area is abundant soil, not only stop the control the soil erosion, but also give us the shade. And one tree will bring lots of birds, and we feel really happy after seeing birds on that trees. We are losing house sparrow, we are losing many birds from the rural areas because of the urbanization, because of the not availability of the forest. So we have to attract all those birds, all those squirrels which used to be around us. So this is all about the forest and forest resources. Now see you in our next lecture series. Till then, till then, go through these slides and promise yourself that we are the generation, we are the future generation of this country, and we have to we have to protect our environment. The future of the earth is in our hand, and the only way out to control the pollution, the only way out to control the poverty, the only way out is the green land, that is the plantation. We should do the plantation, for not only for us, for our next generation. Thank you very much.